you recall, I talked about the fact that liberty cannot exist in a democracy. Today we're going to talk about the fact that liberty cannot be defined except by the one experiencing it. Okay? I had to wrap my head around that one a little bit. By the way, that blog is fantastic. I'm telling you, if you have just a few minutes, they're absolutely fantastic. You can follow them on Facebook. Great information on there. We can define liberty in an abstract way. Liberty is freedom. Liberty is not being captive. Liberty is being free to make your choice. Liberty is this, liberty is that. But none of these things are actually concrete. None of these things actually paint a picture so I can look at a person and say, this person has liberty, right? Can you really look at a fellow American or a fellow human and say that person has liberty? I can look at that person and say that person is not confined by physical restraint, but it doesn't mean that they have liberty. The person living with $50,000 worth of debt to MasterCard and student loan payments is not living in liberty because they are not free to choose. Now you will say they made a free choice to become indebted. I agree that they chose captivity. Maybe they did it fully aware, maybe half aware. I don't know. It doesn't abdicate their responsibility, but they are not free. Just as if you walk into a jail cell, you don't have a key, and you look at the lock and go, if I shut the door, it's going to close. You walk in there free of your own will and close the door. Maybe you even want to be there for some reason. Maybe you want to be protected. But unless you don't want to leave at any point in time, you are no longer free. If you stay that way, and I just pressed something on this dealie. Is this yours? Stop. I just hit stop. Sorry. If you were recording, I totally blew that. You'll have to watch the wrap your head around block to catch on this stuff. Keep my hand. Everybody keep your hands off the whole dealie. If you would stay there in any way, if the door was open, I guess you're free. But then why would you close the door? Just because it is self-imposed captivity doesn't mean that you still have liberty. It is only liberty if you can walk away. And that means that everything that we do has responsibilities involved with it. Every choice we make, even when no one is forcing us, even when no one is misleading us, every choice we take can adversely affect our own personal liberty. That is why we need to think before we act in all areas of our life. As a people, Americans have said, government, think for us. Corporations, think for us. My big brother, think for me. Big sister, mom, dad, think for me. I don't want to think, I just want to have stuff and be. Does that sound like the average American today? If that is you, you don't have liberty. That is why I call the majority of people in the nation sheeple. I don't know what else to say. It's not a derogatory term. I've been one. I guess it might be derogatory if you're among them and you feel like you are being talked down to. It is a descriptive term. That is how a sheep behaves. A sheep looks at the shepherd and says, take me to green grass. Take me to the water. Protect me from the wolf. The sheepdog is free. The sheepdog runs out ahead and protects the sheep by choice. If that sheepdog doesn't want to be there, he can leave at any time. There is nothing that master can do to make the sheepdog stay. The sheepdog does what he's supposed to do because it's who he really is. He is himself, or she is herself, but make no mistake about it, any sheepdog capable of working with the shepherd and defending the sheep, if it chose out there on a free range, it could just run away and become a wolf, basically. It chooses to be a sheepdog. It is free. The sheep are not. Oh, does that make sense? Does that analogy make a little bit of sense? Because I'm ashamed to admit to everyone here, I've been a sheep for many years in my life. So if someone feels like you're a sheep right now, don't feel bad, because it's very easy in America. America is like made for people to just sit down in front of the TV and go, okay, turn off brain and relax. But a free republic takes more than that out of us. We can't expect to keep our republic and continue to act that way. We have to start to break that by understanding that you cannot have liberty defined for you. You have to define it for yourself because it is a personal choice. If I choose to live on a mountaintop, that might be a liberating experience for me. There are those out there who, if I put on a mountaintop, would say, I don't want this. This is horrible. I feel trapped on this mountaintop. So my liberty and your liberty can't be the same. only in its environment, and the environment is the freedom to make these choices and the awareness of freedom to make these choices. That's how we define liberty. If there is any way to define liberty, it's that the person is free to make the choice, any choice they wish, and that they are aware of their freedom. And anything less is not liberty. And nothing that a government does, nothing anybody else does for you will change that. I have a copy of this back for anybody that would like it. So thank you.